Good evening. Hi, Brian. Hi, Miriam.
Right.
Tonight we're going to read. Brian, do you remember the portion?
Ooh.
It's a long one. I know. It's a hard one. Behalotecha.
Behalotecha.
Exactly. And it starts with the lighting of the lights. All right. So it's a very interesting portion, as they all are. So let me share the screen. Brian, I'm going to put you on mute. And Miriam, I don't know if you want to read or not.
I'll read a little bit. It's not you. I don't enjoy it the way you enjoy it.
Oh, well, I love to read. So I'll start and
The
then
only reason if I will do it if it helps you a little bit, but I could retain more when I read.
when you're listening. Okay, let me read. And if I find that I can't,
Yeah, I'll gladly fill in if.
perfect. Okay, that's great. So we're starting in Numbers. Let me see. You can see the screen. It's Numbers. Hold on a second. Numbers 8, verse 1 to 12, verse 16. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you light the lamps, and that's Behalotecha, the 7 lamps shall give light in front of it says norot, the candles, the lights on the lampstand, which is a menorah. So Aaron did that, and he lit its lamps to give light in the front of the lampstands as the Lord commanded Moses. So this was inside the tent of meeting. Aaron had to light the lights because there were no windows. The workmanship of the lampstand was of hammered gold. Its shaft, its flowers was hammered work according to the pattern which the Lord had shown Moses. So he made the lampstand. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, well, he didn't literally make it himself. There were workers, there were people who were gifted, who were able to do it. To
I
do the
forget that this isn't the Ner Tamid, or is it the Ner Tamid? This is not the Ner Tamid.
No, it's the
This is the
menorah.
lamp. Right.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take the Levites from among the people of Israel and cleanse them. Thus shall you do to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle purifying water upon them. Let them shave all their flesh. Let them wash their clothes, and so make themselves clean. Remember, they're living in the desert. It's hot. They have to be clean before they come to God. Then let them take a young bull with its meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, and another young bull shall you take for a sin offering. And you shall bring the Levites before the tent of meeting, and you shall gather the whole assembly of the people of Israel together. And you shall bring the Levites before the Lord, and the people of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. This was what's called smicha. It was an acknowledgement before the entire people that these Levites had a very special role. It reminded me of the last inauguration when I saw President Trump. He stood there with his hand on the Bible. It's not that they laid hands on him, but everybody was there witnessing that this man was going to be placed in that position, the highest position of the land. And here, all the Israelites were going to watch this ceremony where the Levites were given their roles. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord as an offering of the people of Israel, so that they may serve. This is what it's all about, avodah, all about service to the Lord. It's not about worshiping. Like, the old word worship comes from an older word called workmanship. It had to do with doing all the work that was going to take place in the tent of meeting. Well, we'll see what they had to do. We've been reading all the things that they had to do already. And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the bulls, and you shall offer one as a sin offering, chata'at, and the other one as an olah, burnt offering to the Lord. To make, here it says, lekaper. I don't like the word atonement. The word lekaper means a covering. God was constantly going to cover us, watch over us, protect us. And you shall set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering to the Lord. Thus shall you separate the Levites from among the people of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. So just the way Israel, the people of Israel, were separated from all the other nations, now the Levites are separated from Israel to do specific roles. And after that shall the Levites go in to do the service of the tent of meeting, and you shall cleanse them and offer them for an offering. For they are wholly given to me from among the people of Israel, instead of those who open every womb, instead of the firstborn of all the people of Israel, have I taken them to me. For all the firstborn of the people of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I struck every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I set them apart for myself. I think a lot of these things have a more spiritual understanding than perhaps we can understand, but it always seems to go back to remembering what happened in Egypt. The Pharaoh ordered all the males to be killed. And because of that, all the firstborn, not only males, but females and cattle, were going to be would die at just before Pesach, when the angel of death came, when everybody who had put the blood on the doorposts were in the house. It's all a matter of trust. I don't know how easy it is for us to understand all these things that God is giving us a picture of, but these things are not repeated today, but we're to remember them. And like, I'm a firstborn, and I think it's amazing to think of, I have been separated from the rest of my family, and it's truly how I feel, that I've been almost set apart from them and offered in service to God. And hopefully I will be able to live up to that role, which is not an easy one. And I have taken the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the people of Israel. Originally, all of Israel were going to be firstborn, all going to be Levites. They were all going to be Kohanim. But because of the golden calf, God separated a people within Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the people of Israel. So Aaron and his sons were going to serve as the high priests, but the Levites were going to be doing all the hard work of serving the people of Israel in the tent of meeting, to make a covering for the people, so that there shall be no plague among the children of Israel when the people of Israel come near to the sanctuary. So everything that God did, he does with a reason, for a reason. We don't always understand the reason, but it's always to bring order out of chaos. And little by little, these things, as we read the Torah over and over, little by little, we see that revealed to us. And Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the people of Israel did to the Levites according to all that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites. So did the people of Israel to them. The Levites were purified. They washed their clothes. And Aaron offered them as an offering before the Lord. And Aaron made a covering for them to cleanse themselves. I was just thinking this very moment, and I'm praying that God would help us as we read his word, because he wants more than anything for us to understand what he's saying. And I'm praying that as I'm reading it, that something would become a little more clear to us as to what he wants us, because this is not only given to the people then, but it's also for us today. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of reading the Torah if we can't apply it to our lives today, if we can't learn from it? So I'm praying that as I'm reading, and don't be shy to if you hear something that brings an idea to mind that you'd like to share with others, don't be shy to say it, because he speaks through all of us. If he can talk through a donkey, he can certainly speak through us. And after that, the Levites went in to do their service in the tent of meetings before Aaron and before his sons, as the Lord had commanded Moses about the Levites. So did they to them. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "This is what concerns the Levites. From 25 years up, old and upwards, they shall go in to wait upon the service of the tent of meeting." But last week, we read that the Levites would serve from the age of 30 to 50. Here it says, from 25 years and up, they shall go in to do the service, or to wait upon the service of the tent of meeting. So it seems like in those 5 years, from 25 to 30, they would be in training. And then it says, from the age of 50, they shall cease waiting upon its service. They're no longer going to work in doing the things. They shall serve no more. But this is important. They shall minister with their brothers in the tent of meeting to keep the charge, but they'll do no service. Thus shall you do to the Levites concerning their charge. So, for 5 years, it seems to me that this means they would be in training. At 30, they start doing the work. All the things that we had read up to now, but all the work that they had to do, each had a very specific role. So at the age of 30, they would begin the work. But at the age of 50, they stopped doing the work, but they still stayed with the others, with the new people, to teach them, to help them, to guide them. You know, we tend to, in this day and age, to take the elderly and kind of put them aside. They're in, nursing homes or retirement homes, or, they're not the wisdom that they've learned during all those years are no longer considered. Today, the youth have taken over. Everything is new and young. And what can the elderly learn or teach them? But they're missing all the years that it took to gain wisdom, to gain experience. And one of the things that I have failed in very deeply in my life is teaching my children properly. And as I get older, when I try to now, because I didn't do it before, now they don't want to hear. So it's really important for the older ones to be taking here from 25 years old. Those at the age of 50, when they retired, were already teaching those at 25 years old. And they had become accustomed to that. They had learned to honor the elderly, those who were going to impart teaching and wisdom. And that's really important. And the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year. So remember, they had been at the base of Mount Sinai for 2 years after they came out of the land of Egypt. They were living in tents. There were no houses. There was no structure. They were learning how to create a structure. The tribes were separated. Each one were given their standards and they were told what they would have to do. And then it says, let the people of Israel, this is 2 years later, keep the Pesach at its appointed season, not any time they wanted, but at its appointed season. I remember when I was involved in Christianity, that was never stressed. It didn't matter when the Pesach landed. If it landed on a Wednesday, and it was more convenient for them to do the Pesach, the Seder, on a Saturday night, that's when they did it. But it's not what the Torah says. The Torah says they had to do it at the appointed season. God would always be the one to tell us when, to tell us where, and to tell us how. And we had no right to change it at any time. So then on the 14th day of Nisan, which we know, at evening, ye shall keep it, the Pesach, in its appointed season, according to all its rites, its rituals, according to all its ceremonies, which God had already told us. He told us how to do it, and we weren't to change it. And that's one of the things that I have problems with today. Look, I love my people, but we have gone over the top right now with all the rules and regulations that God never asked us to do. And there's a consequence for that. He never asked for 2 sets of dishes. He never asked for 2 kitchens. He didn't ask for all these foods, these extra foods with all the extra laws of kashrut, like a box of matzah that's eaten during the year can't be eaten at Pesach. He didn't ask for this. We do it. And then we think we're going to be blessed by the things that we choose to do. Moses spoke to the people of Israel, telling them they should keep the Pesach. How many people in our own families, born into a Jewish home, do not keep the Pesach? And they kept the Pesach on the 14th day of the first month at evening in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So the people of Israel did. There were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, so that they could not keep Pesach on that day. And they came before Moses and Aaron on that day. And the men said to him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man. But why should we be kept back so that we cannot offer an offering to the Lord at the Moedim, at the time, the appointed time, among the people of Israel? And Moses said, wait, I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you. See, I love this line. I love it because God set up a system where one man and the Kohen Agadol, or one man could hear what the Lord commanded directly to the people. He didn't need intermediaries. He didn't need a whole hierarchical system. Moses was going to speak to them. He didn't need a king. God would directly be speaking to Moses to tell us. And the Lord said to Moses, speak to the people of Israel. If any man of you and your posterity shall be unclean because of a dead body, or is on a journey far away, he shall still keep the Pesach to the Lord. He can do it on the 14th day of the second month, the month after Nisan. At evening they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread.
Here's an answer to what you were saying before. Now you gave the example of the Pesach being kept, let's say, well, it doesn't matter if it fell on a Wednesday, we could do it on a Saturday. But here it's instituted in specific circumstances by God. And it didn't say, well, you choose a day or you decide on a day. So it's still specifically from God.
Exactly, for those who couldn't keep him.
Yeah.
See, we always have to refer back, what did God say? Not man. And we are caught in every single area of what man says. There are so many religions and so many systems in the world, and we're not listening to God. Everyone's doing, as it said, the book of Judges ended. Everyone is doing what is right in his own eyes. They shall leave none of it to the morning, nor break any bone. According to all the ordinance of the Pesach, they shall keep it. But the man who is clean and is not on a journey and refrains from keeping the Pesach, that same soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he didn't bring the offering of the Lord in his appointed seasons, that a man shall bear his sin. You know, in that time, when someone was cut off from the community, it was like they were set out on their own. They would be set away from Israel, who were protected by God. And very often, who knows what happened to them? Maybe they went to join pagan nations. Maybe they died in the desert. But they were, if they didn't do it, they were cut off. You know, there are people today who may call themselves Jews, but they're not. A Jew is someone who observes what God in his Torah is telling us. And then, this is really important. And if a stranger, a ger, which is the person who wants to join to the people of Israel and be part of us, sojourn among you, like Ruth, like Caleb, like Obadiah, and will keep the Pesach. They want to keep the Pesach to the Lord, according to the ordinance of the Pesach, and according to its prescribed ordinances, so shall he do. You shall have one, the word here is chukah. Remember, there's mitzvah, chukim, and mishpatim. But the chukah has to do with a regulation that God gave us that we may not fully understand why. But there's to be one chukah, for the stranger and for the native born, one who was born in the land. There's no, my God is for the Jews and this God is for the Gentiles. There are no two gods. There are no two Torahs. There's no two sets of chukim. There's no Noahide laws. It doesn't exist in the Torah. Okay. Why can't I get to the next one? What's going on? It's not here. And it came to pass on the 20th day of the second month, in the second year, that the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle of the testimony, from the Mishkan, where the testimony, the Edut, where God would meet his people. They are going to leave for the first time since they came to the Mount Sinai. It was the second month, the second year. The only time they could move was when God told them. The cloud was taken up and they had to get ready. And everyone knew exactly what they had to do. The people of Israel took their journeys out of the wilderness, and the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. Imagine how they felt. Imagine that day. All their standards raised. They took their first journey according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. In the first place went the standard of the camp of the sons of Judah. This was the tribe from whom the king would come, from whom the tribe of all tribes, according to their armies. And over his army, each one had an army, was Nachshon, the son of Aminadab. And over the army of the tribe of Issachar was Netanel, the son of Zuar. And then the army of the tribe of Zebulun was Eliav, the son of Helon. And the tabernacle was taken down. And the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari set forward, carrying the tabernacle. That was their job. The standard of the camp of Reuben set forward according to their armies. I could just picture it, marching out and standards being waved, and here they are setting out with So excited. They're leaving. They're going to the promised land. It was only going to take 11 days. And over the army was Elitzur, the son of Shedeor. And over the army of the tribe of Simeon was Shlumiel, the son of Tsuri Shaddai. And over the army of the tribe of Gad was Eliasaph, the son of Deuel. Now, the first group here, we had the first group, and Gershon must have been with them. Now, the second three tribes, we have the Kohathites set forward behind them or in front of them, carrying the sanctuary. And the tabernacle should be set up before they arrived, so they had to leave first. And the standard of the camp for the sons of Ephraim set forward according to their armies. And over his army was Elishama, the son of Ammihud. And over the army of the tribe of Manasseh was Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. And the army of the tribe of Benjamin was Avidan, the son of Gideon. And the standard of the camp of the sons of Dan set forward, which was the rear guard of all the camps. And over his army was Achietzer, the son of Ammishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Ochran. And over the army of the son of Naphtali was Ahira, the son of Enan. Thus were the journeys of the people of Israel according to their armies when they set forward. Now Moses said to Hovav, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law. I don't know why his name here is Hovav. Maybe they had several names, but we knew him as Yitro. He was Moses' father-in-law because he married Zipporah. And Moses said to Hobab, excuse me, we are journeying to the place about which the Lord said, I will give you. Come with us, and we will do good for you. For the Lord has spoken good concerning Israel. And Yitro or Hobab said to him, I will not go. I'm going back to my own land, to my kindred. And Moses said, don't leave us, I pray you, for you know how we are to camp in the wilderness. And you may be to us instead of eyes. And it shall be, if you go with us, it shall be that whatever good the Lord shall do to us, the same will we do to you. Now, I was actually astounded when I read this. God put the cloud on top of the tabernacle, lifted, the cloud was going to go by day, the fire by night. He was going to lead them through the desert, and Moses is begging his father-in-law to go with them because he says, you know how we are to camp in the wilderness. Didn't Moses speak face to face with God? Why would he put his trust in a Gentile priest instead of the God who had led them from the moment they left Egypt? I mean, I was astounded by that because, how often do I get to a point where I just don't know who to trust and don't know how to make a decision about something? And even though I know God is always with me and I know he's going to answer me in some way, and yet I lose my faith and I lose my trust. And here Moses, the one who spoke face to face with God, did the same thing. I don't know if there's another way of looking at that. And it seems that Jethro was even wiser than Moses because he knew, he says, I'm going to go back to my own land. It's almost like my own people. You don't need me anymore.
I wonder
God
if
is
he
with
was
you.
also thinking, because he has encountered the God of the universe,
Yeah,
and maybe he realizes he could be with that. They need him there.
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's so many ways of looking at it. We don't know. The Torah doesn't give us all the answers, but it gives us hints of things. Excuse me. And they departed from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey. And the ark of the covenant went before them in the 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them, because they were walking now 3 days. And the cloud of the Lord was upon them by day when they went out of the camp. And it came to pass, when the ark set forward, that Moses said, this next prayer we chant every Shabbat. Kuma Adonai ve'afutzu oivecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Rise up, Lord. Every time I hear this, I go, rise up, Lord. Let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee from before you. This is our prayer every week. And when the ark rested, Moses said, return, O Lord, to the many thousands of Israel. In other words, be with us always. And then, we're just setting up on our journey, and the people complained. And it displeased the Lord. And the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And the fire of the Lord, here the word for burnt is, I think it's taver. Here, tiv'ar. And the name would be called taverah. Later on, we'll read, when we read the stages, taverah will be one of the places, because this was the first place that we complained. And a fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed. He literally killed those who were on the outlying parts of the camp. You know what? When we complain, there are consequences. When we complain as a nation, there are huge consequences. Sometimes things happen to us because of our own behavior. God isn't punishing us. We are reaping the consequences of our untrusting him. And the people cried out to Moses. And when Moses prayed to the Lord, the fire was quenched. But he called the name of the place Taverah, because the fire of the Lord had burnt among them. Now here, this is an interesting part. It says, the mixed multitude, and the word for mixed multitudes is ha-asafsuf. He's not talking about the ger, the stranger among us. He's talking about rabble-rousers. Sometimes here in our city, we will see people who are going out to celebrate. Maybe it's Yom Ha'atzmaut. We're celebrating the birthday of Israel. And then a group of rabble-rousers come. Sometimes they're people who've been paid. And they stand across the way and they mock us and they call us names. And if they could kill us, they would. The mixed multitude was among them, and they had a strong craving. Something inside them was not satisfied, and they stirred up the emotions of the people. And the people of Israel wept again and said, who shall give us meat to eat? And then they start having all the imaginations, because I can't imagine that this is exactly how it was. Oh, we remember the fish that we ate in Egypt for nothing, and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. They were crying out for meat. Cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, garlic, where's the meat? But now our soul is dried away and there's nothing beside this manna. Imagine, God was giving them the most beautiful gift. Every day they would wake up in the morning. It says, before their eyes, the manna was like coriander seed, and the color was the color of bdellium. I don't know what color that is, but it must have been beautiful. But it was right there on the ground. All they had to do was gather it. It's like, how could I compare it today? I'm walking along and I see a $100 bill on the ground. Whoa, imagine every day I'd go out and see a $100 bill so I can go shopping. But it wasn't enough. The people went around and gathered it and ground it in mills and beat it into a mortar and baked it in pans and made cakes. And the taste of it was like the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, in Hebrew it's called the mand, fell upon it. Then Moses heard the people crying, weeping, and their whole families were weeping, and every man was standing at the door of their tent, wailing. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. And Moses, it says, Moshe Ra, he's pretty upset. He probably wants to swear to them like I sometimes do. And Moses said to the Lord, but instead of getting upset with them, because sometimes we don't want to get upset at our own children, Moses says to God, why have you afflicted your servant? Why haven't I found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all this people on me? Did I conceive this people? Did I father them that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, like a nursing father carries a sucking child to the land which you swore to their fathers? When did God ask Moses to do these things? Here, Moses is being a crybaby, just like the people. I love Moses. He's the most humble man, but he's so human. For from where should I have meat to give to all these people? For they're weeping to me, saying, give us meat that we may eat. And sometimes I get it, because sometimes I hear my children complaining. Oh, actually, one just complaining and crying out, and immediately I want to run and give her exactly what she needs. But he says, I'm not able to carry all these people alone because it's too heavy for me. That's exactly how I feel. I can't carry the burden. It's too much. And if you deal thus with me, kill me. I pray, I beg you at once. What a drama queen. If I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. The Lord said to Moses, he didn't get upset with him here. Bring me 70 men from the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people. Now, these were wise men and officers. These were judges. And bring them to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. And I will come down, and I will talk with you there. Imagine God would come to the tent and speak to these 70. I will take some of the spirit which is upon you and put it upon them. I don't know what this means, because the spirit is not a physical thing. So there's an understanding that maybe some of the gifting, I don't know how to interpret this. And they shall carry the burden of the people with you, that you carry it not yourself alone. You were going to
Isn't
say
there
something?
something the spiritual transference between people, with well, the spirit of that person, it's really from God. So it really seems to me God's spirit in that person. And you pass on a legacy, even Moses to Joshua, whatever.
Yeah, but it's not a physical thing. I don't think it's something that we could understand.
Okay.
It's more like maybe just some of the burden that they shall carry the burden of the people with you. Maybe it's just a way of saying, I'm going to take some of the responsibility that I put on you, and I will put it upon them too. It's not a literal thing. You can't separate a spirit of someone.
No, but I don't mean it literally.
No, but that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like someone who will say, if someone's going on, they say break a leg. It's not a literal thing. It's more of an idiomatic understanding that some of the burden would be shared. And say to the people, sanctify yourself for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. Prepare yourselves, for you have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. But you're not going to eat only 1 day, or 2 days, or 5 days, or 10 days, or 20 days, but a whole month until it's coming out of your nose. I think that's hilarious. Sometimes, I would fetch so much about something that I wanted to eat, and my father would say, here, eat this whole thing until it comes out of your nose. He didn't know he was quoting from the Torah. And it becomes disgusting to you, loathsome, because you have despised the Lord who is among you. We keep challenging God by weeping before him, by crying and complaining, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? And Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen. And you have said, I will give them meat, that they may eat a whole month. Where was he going to get that? Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them? Are we going to have to kill all the animals that we brought? Is that going to be enough for them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them? Is that going to be enough for them? But the Lord said to Moses, is the Lord's hand too short? Is there anything he can't do? You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass to you or not. Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them around the tent. And the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke to him, and took some of the spirit that was on him and gave it to the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. The word also infers speaking in ecstasies, things that maybe we can't understand. I think that's where Christianity gets speaking in tongues or strange languages. But I don't know what that looked like. I can't even begin to imagine what it looked like. But there remained 2 men in the camp, Eldad and Medad, and the Spirit rested on them as well. They were among those who were registered, but they didn't go to the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. And a young man had seen them, and he ran and he told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. So Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, Joshua, was with Moses everywhere he went. And he answered and said, my Lord Moses, forbid them. God forbid that they should do something that we didn't tell them to do. And Moses said, are you jealous or zealous for my sake? And here he said, I wish that all of God's people were prophets, and that the Lord could put his Spirit upon them. And I believe that this was a prophecy that will one day happen, that all of God's people, and he's not talking only native-born Israelites. He's talking about the Ger who is living with us, the two who make up the Commonwealth of Israel. And one day, all of God's people will be prophets, and the Lord will put his Spirit on all of us. And Moses returned to the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from the Lord, Ruach Elohim, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and about a day's journey on the other, around the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, and they gathered the quail. The one who had gathered the least had gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves around the camp, while the meat was still between their teeth, before it was even chewed. The anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord struck the people with a very great plague. Sometimes we get sick because We are chazers. Honestly, total chazers. Look what they did. They didn't trust God. They complained. They wanted their cravings filled, and God struck them with a very great plague. And he called the name of that place Kibrot Hatava, because there they buried the people who had the craving. And the people journeying from Kibrot Hatava to Hazerot, is it Hazerot? It's Hatzerot, and they stayed at Hatzerot. Let me just take some water. And Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushi, the woman who was from Cush, an Ethiopian woman, a black woman who he had married. For he had married a Cushi. And they said, but this to me is even more important to understand. Not so much that he had married a black woman, because I don't know how Zipporah was. I'm sure there were darker people in that day. And they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hasn't he spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. See, this was a more serious accusation. They were jealous of Moses' position, and they spoke against Moses. Moses didn't give that to, Moses never asked God to be the leader. Moses never asked God to be the one who he spoke face to face with. In fact, the man Moses was very humble, more than any other men who lived on the face of the earth. And the Lord spoke suddenly to Moses and to Aaron and to Miriam. Come out, you three, to the tent of meeting. And the three came out. When I read this, I could remember a scene back home when I was a little girl. And my father, I don't know if I did something right or did something wrong. And my father said, Peggy, come here. Let me tell you, I was shaking in my boots. Imagine God speaking to Aaron and Miriam. Come out here, the three of you. And the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both came forth. And he said, listen, hear my words. If there's a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known to him in a vision, and I will speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses, for he is the trusted one in all my house. With him I speak I'll pay, mouth to mouth, face to face, manifestly, and not in hidden speech. I speak clearly. I don't speak in riddles. And he, behold the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tent, and behold, Miriam had Tza'arat, Mitzorah, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she had a skin disease. And Aaron said to Moses, my Lord, please, I beg you, do not lay the sin upon us, because we have done foolishly, because we have sinned. Do not let her be as someone who is dead, whom the flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried to the Lord, Elena refanala. Heal her now, Lord. Oh God, I beg you, heal her. And the Lord said to Moses, if her father had only spit in her face, wouldn't she be ashamed? For 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received in again. So she's put out of the camp in quarantine. So she could really think it was dangerous to be outside the camp, unprotected. Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people did not journey till Miriam was brought in again. And afterwards the people moved from Hatzerot and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Oh, that's the end. So that's the end. So, what do you think, Baruch? Anything's, I can't hear you. You went from unmute to mute.
Did you see me when you had the thing on?
No, I can't see you.
Oh, because I can see you when the reading is on. I can see you when who's ever reading. So what's his name?
Whoever reads is the one you could see if they have the camera on.
My
Hi,
camera.
Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
So
hello, everybody. How are you?
good. How are you?
Thank God. Oh, God. Yeah. Yes.
Did anything stand out to you of what we read today? That could you relate to our lives today?
I wasn't able to attend completely, but
That's okay.
This isn't from Exodus?
This is what?
From Exodus?
No, from Numbers. Bamidbar. Bamidbar means in the wilderness. We're now leaving, and we're leaving Mount Sinai. We left Egypt 2 years before. Then we 3 months after we left Egypt, we were at the base of Mount Sinai. Moses went up to get the mountain. We built the golden calf, and we spent that whole time building the Mishkan in the desert. Each one was learning their roles. Each one was given jobs to do. Each one was important. And now everybody knew exactly what they had to do, and they set out in stages. They set out, the ark would go before them. Wherever they went, the Ark of the Covenant with the 10 Commandments that we had received up in the mountain would go with us. And that's showing us that those 10 Commandments have to be with us in every decision that we're going to be making in our lives. It doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that we're not going to struggle, or that we're not going to hit by certain plagues, sicknesses when we do things that are wrong. Everything hits us for a reason, either something we did or others do or generations past. Yes, Brian.
This reading the English on one side and Hebrew on the other side, left and right side, is that the one we used to read, Sephardic one?
No, it's called the Tanakh Bible. It's a different one.
Is that like the Mem something?
No, this is a different one.
But it's
The
like
blue one? It's
what we
blue?
used to have left and right side.
Yeah, it's left and right. Here the Hebrew's on the right, and the
English on the left.
Sepharia is one under the other.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Sepharia gives us more, like I can click on a word. In Hebrew, it'll give me all the definitions. I can click on the whole passage, and it'll give me the interpretations of the rabbis. And I know there are many, but I'm a simple person. I'm not a scholar. I love God. I want to follow his words. So I don't want to hear all what everybody else says about it. I want to, because one of the things that I remember hearing was that the Torah always explains itself. We just have to keep reading. And every time we read it, every time we go through it, year after year, we learn something a little more. Because we've changed in our own. Yes, Brian, what are you showing me?
I asked them to give me one like this with the feet on it and one without the feet. What does the person do? He puts two of the same, and that when it falls, it falls open.
Okay. And what does this have to do with the Torah portion?
Moses said, let there be plastic cups that you fill
Is
with
this what you've learned from the Torah portion today? That people don't obey orders? Is that what you?
Because this one here, you can shake it, you can see it,
Yes.
falls.
Well, you just have to repeat it again and until they get it. Why do you think God has to repeat his words again and again and again?
Because we're
Because
not as
we
smart
don't
as God.
listen.
We're not as smart as God.
We're not as, no. And we think the young people know more than the older ones who have wisdom. We're so messed up today. The world is in a mess because we have put away the Torah. We have
Like
replaced
my
it.
cousin, she started teaching her kids very early things,
Yes, we have to.
compared to
They,
where I went or where you went to school. We
exactly.
didn't
We
get that
didn't
until we
learn
hit
it.
the kindergarten. I didn't even hit the kindergarten because of where my time in the birth. It doesn't come at the proper time for to get into school.
Yeah, but yeah, I know. But you know what? It's never too late to start again. And every day is another opportunity for us to start again.
I love that.
Me too. God is a God of Rabbi, as Rabbi would say, God is a God of beginning again, of new beginnings. And sometimes we just cannot, we cannot do things on our own. Like sometimes I say I drown in a like in a pool of guilt of things that I did wrong with my own family, with my own children. And then I just have to go to God and say, please help me. And something shifts. We cannot we cannot do things with just simple psychology or simple neuroplasticity. Something is there's things that go way beyond the physical. We have to delve into the spiritual. We suffer when we have suffering, physical ailments, emotional ailments. Sometimes there are spiritual ailments, like what happened with Miriam. Miriam gossiped, was angry about, look, why did Moses get all the glory for what he's doing? Aren't I also a prophetess? Don't I also speak? God chose Moses. God chose Miriam. God chose Baruch. God chose you, Baruch, to know all this. You are one of the wisest people living in Maimonides now. Do you know that?
Mm.
You may not have been smart in school, but look what Toby says. You're a genius
Mm.
because you
Somebody
see
used the
things.
phone today in down the where to go outside,
What?
and he put a
Sorry?
quarter in, and he expected his quarter to come back, but the phone was telling him put another quarter in.
Put another nickel
So
in.
he didn't get his quarter back because he's
He
using the
didn't get
last
his quarterback.
payphone.
He was
No,
playing football. He didn't get his quarterback.
he was playing with the phone. The phone they have there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're all finished with this portion. Next week we'll be doing, who knows? Let me see. I don't know. Shalach. Shalach lecha. God, Moses
Yeah.
was sending the scouts
Right.
to look at the land. Anyway, there's always something exciting to learn. So I pray, I ask God to be with each of us this week for the rest of the week, and that He will guide us and lead us and help us to grow, help us to love His word and to love Him with all our hearts, to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, the way Yeshua said. And pray that God would give me a good message for Shabbat that help us go a little further. Miriam, I pray for your tooth
Thank you.
that it'll be
Remember the whole
handled
tooth,
very
nothing but the
quickly.
tooth,
Pardon?
the whole tooth.
And nothing but the tooth. So help me
Help me
God.
God.
Very funny, Brian. That's very funny. I love it. Miriam's tooth came out.
Implant. The
Her
implant fell
implant
out.
came out, and we were going to be going tomorrow. You see the water behind you, Jerry? We were going to head out to Plattsburgh tomorrow for our
You
first.
still may go.
We still may go. You'll see. So if it's in God's will, otherwise He knows that I have a lot to do to work on the message. That's why I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We'll see
don't.
how you feel too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We'll see when the day comes. In the meantime, be good, be kind to your neighbors, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Baruch, be kind to the people there.
Yeah, and the
You
lady
you
was very
catch more
good.
flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And I'm speaking to myself when I say that.
I tried to speak with Honey, but that girl, she's the same room number as mine, only on C-section, and she has no picture. The one
Who
who
is that?
didn't
Who's
want to
that?
go to the States.
Who? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, that
Ida
one. Yeah.
George.
Right. All right. Well, I wish you a good evening and all the best for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Right.